Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are trying to build a new DevOps project, which is a very simple DevOps project, which is, helpful in getting started with DevOps. All right. So today, what we are doing is, we are deploying the infrastructure using infrastructure as a code service or a tool called Terraform, and we are automating this process using Jenkins. Okay, basically what we are trying to do is we are creating an EC2 instance using a Terraform script, Terraform code. If you do not know what is an Terraform, it is an infrastructure as a code tool which is used to build your infrastructure using HCL language, Terraform HashiCorp language. Okay, so by using that, you will be able to create resources in AWS or GCP or even your Azure. Okay, so even your on-premises can be built using Terraform. Okay, so if you do not know what is Terraform, let me know in the comments if you want me to make a tutorial on Terraform as well. Okay, I'll be waiting for your comments. All right, so today we are getting the Terraform code and we are deploying it, we are automating it. We are automating the entire process using Jenkins and we are deploying it in our AWS environment. Okay, so if I just pictorially represent it, it will be more clear to you. So if you see this diagram, it will be more clear to you now. Okay, so this is what we are trying to do today. Okay, first things first, we have our GitHub repository. So this GitHub repository will have our code. So the code that is used to build infrastructure using Terraform in AWS. So till now what we were doing, we were just going to our AWS console, opening EC2 and we were creating resources, right? So but in real time that will not help, right? We need to automate this process. So let's say we were creating one EC2 instance, two EC2 instance, you can create 5 maximum. But if I ask you to create 100 EC2 instances, will you be able to do it? Right? Let me know in the comments. So if I ask you to create 100 EC2 instances at the same time, will you be able to do it? Right? The answer would be yes, you would be able to do it, but it requires too much time. Right? So that is impossible if you want to do it manually. So we have to automate this process, right? So for automating, we have a tool called infrastructure as a code tool. One such tool is Terraform. AWS also has got its own native tool called CloudFormation. So in CloudFormation, we use YAML files or JSON files to create resources. But here in Terraform, we use its own language called HashiCorp language. Okay, by using that, you will be able to deploy the infrastructure. Okay, so this is what we are trying to do today. So Jenkins is an automation tool, CI/CD automation tool. Basically, this will get the code from your GitHub and it will process it or it will build it inside the Jenkins and it will deploy to your AWS, right? So this is what we are trying to do. Okay, so for this to happen, we need certain things, right? We need Jenkins file to be there. We need to create a pipeline and we also need a Terraform script, right? Which creates our EC2 instance. All right. So we also need GitHub account and to integrate with Jenkins, right? So if Jenkins, so we are telling Jenkins to get the code from GitHub and deploy in our AWS account. But which AWS account it needs to deploy, right? There are many AWS accounts. So which one to select? So for that one, we can use credentials of our AWS account. If you remember in AWS IAM, we have something called as access key ID and secret access key ID, right? So if you can generate one secret key and access key and provide it in Jenkins, Jenkins will understand saying that, oh, okay, so I need to deploy my resources in this particular EC2 or sorry, in this particular AWS account, right? So that is how we do it, right? First, let us go to GitHub and see what are the things that we need. Okay, so let me go open my GitHub here. So this is my GitHub and the name of the repository is Terraform Jenkins. Okay, so if you see here and the Terraform code that I was speaking, right? So it creates an EC2 instance, right? So this is the Terraform script. Okay, if you do not know, don't worry, it is really simple to understand. So we are providing provider block here. Provider is basically Terraform supports multiple providers like AWS, GCP, Azure, all those things. So which provider to consider, right? So provider in our case is AWS. So we are giving here AWS. Okay. And which region? AWS has many region. Which region you want to deploy your resource? I am specifying US East 1. Okay. And what resource you want to create? There are multiple resources in AWS, right? So which one you want to create? So I am specifying resource here, and my intention is to create an EC2 instance, so I am giving AWS instance. Okay. And what is the name of the EC2 instance? I am giving foo. Okay, sorry, the name of the resource, not the instance. Okay, so if you see here, the name of the instance is TF instance, indicating TF means Terraform, instance means EC2 instance, right? So I'll be able to know that this EC2 was created by using Terraform. Okay. And regularly in AWS console also we were selecting what AMI means Amazon machine image, whether you want to go with Amazon Linux 2 or Amazon Ubuntu or Windows, right? So we have AMI IDs, so I am specifying one such ID here. Okay, so I got this value from the console itself. Okay, you can still improvise this code, as this is a simple demonstration. I'm just going with this one. Okay, instance type I'm selecting t2.micro, and tags, you already know what tags is, right? So this is the script that is going to generate or create an EC2 instance. Okay, for this to happen, we will have to create an EC2 we will have to create an IAM user and get the secret key and access key, right? So we'll do that later. Okay, so for this automation, what I've done is I have installed my Jenkins on an Ubuntu EC2 instance. So this is my Jenkins dashboard. This is how it looks. Okay, so we are going to create a pipeline. So what is our Jenkins doing here? It is fetching the code from the GitHub. So it is fetching this code from the GitHub and it is deploying it to our AWS, right? So to happen, we need Jenkins. So we need to create a pipeline, right? So let us do that now. Okay, for that, first go ahead and create a credentials, right? We need to know which AWS account you want, right? So for that, let's go to AWS and create a new IAM user. Okay, so let me click on IAM. So I'll go to users, I'll click on add users, and I'll name this user as CI/CD user. Basically, Jenkins is a CI/CD tool, so continuous integration, continuous delivery. So I'll select access key programmatic. Okay, next is permissions. I'll go and attach a policy directly. For this demonstration, I'm going to use administrator access. So it is recommended to only give what permission you want, but as this is a demonstration, I'm going with this one. Okay, I'll review it. Everything seems clear. I'll click on create user. Okay, so now it will give you AWS access key and secret access key. So access key will be visible to you always, but secret access key it will not be visible. So you can either download it, or if you click on show here, it will show it here itself. Okay, so first let us go ahead and create a parameter inside our Jenkins. Let me come here, Jenkins. I'll go to dashboard, and under dashboard you have something called as manage Jenkins. Click on manage Jenkins. And here, if you see here, you have manage credentials. Click on that. By default, so before this demonstration, I was working on something. So you get to see your AWS access key and AWS secret access key, right? So this we already have it, right? So let me delete these two things. We'll later on we can create it again. Okay, let me delete it again. Okay, so now we don't have any credentials, right? So let us go ahead and add new credentials. So how to do that? You see here, add credentials, click on that. Here you have different options you can select to create a secret or a username and password. You have your username, password, you have your tokens, just like our access key and secret key. You have secrets, you have secret file, you have secret text. There are many things that you can select, right? But here I'm going to select secret text. And the scope, whether it is global or system. System means only this particular Jenkins server will be able to access this credential. Okay, if you give global, let's say you are having slaves, master and slave architecture, then your slaves can also access that, and also your Jenkins administrators will be able to access this credential. But system means only this server will be able to access that. So I'll go with global. Okay, and secret, what is a secret, right? So I have a Jenkins file already created. Let me open that. So don't worry, I'll be explaining that Jenkins file later on, so just concentrate here right now. So if you see, this is my environment variable that I have here. So AWS Access Key ID. So let me copy this one. I'll explain about that complete script in a while, so give me some time. Here under ID you need to specify that. Okay, AWS Access Key ID, and the secret AWS Access Key ID value we have right in our AWS console, we need to specify here. Okay, let me copy that. This is my access key ID. Let me quickly copy that and paste it here. Okay, I'll also give the same description here, AWS Access Key, and I'll create it. Okay, we have one credentials added. Now let me add another one. Here also I'll select secret text and scope global as usual. Secret, let it be like that. ID, I'll just copy the name of the environment variable. Okay, so I'll copy this one and I'll paste it here, and also paste it in the description. Okay, now we need to paste our secret key. So how to get the secret key? Click on show. This will automatically copy. Okay, so selected, you need to copy it and paste it here in the secrets. Later on, click on create. Okay, so we have created two credentials. One is access key ID and secret access key. Okay, so now let me go back to my code. So this is the pipeline code that I have written. Okay, so this is a Groovy script that is needed for running the Jenkins. Okay, so here we have multiple things we need to understand. Basically, pipeline indicates that we are trying to create a pipeline. Okay, so this entire thing starting till here, it is a pipeline code. Okay, in pipeline we have multiple stages, right? So we will have tap in between. If you imagine pipeline as just like your home pipeline, so in betweens we will have tabs and all, right? So those things we can consider as a stages. Okay, and we can set up environment variables just like any other programming languages. Okay, and we also have the ability to parameterize. So let's say you want to parameterize, let's say user. So if a user comes in and provides his name, so it needs to display his own name, right? Instead of giving a general name, whatever the user logs in, so that name it should display. So for that we use parameters, right? So here also I am parameterizing. So basically when it goes through the stage, so after everything is built, at the end it will ask whether you want to deploy it in your AWS account or not, right? So if you hit approve, it will go and create resources in your AWS. Okay, we'll come to that later, but try to understand what I am doing right now. Okay, that is what I am parameterizing here. So Boolean parameter, what is the name I am giving? I am giving auto approve. So in Terraform we have three important things that we need to remember. Terraform init, which initializes the Terraform. Second is Terraform plan. It will show you the entire plan, what resources you are trying to create. Next is Terraform apply, which will go ahead and apply it in your actual environment, right, or your account. So that is what we have, three things. And if you provide auto approve, it will not ask for you whether you want to approve, apply it or not. It will directly go ahead and apply it in your environment, right? So that is what auto approve means. So I am giving, by default the value is false. So if you explicitly specify true, it will go ahead and deploy it in your actual environment. Okay, so the description that I'm giving is automatically run apply after creating plan. Is that true? If you hit approve, it will go ahead and deploy it in your environment. Okay, and this is the environment. So basically we are storing the credentials, right? So this is what we did in Jenkins. We have credentials stored already. So basically we need credentials to log into our AWS account and deploy resources. In the same way, Jenkins also needs that credentials, but here the credentials is access key and secret access key. So instead of hard coding it here, you can also specify your access key and secret key here itself, but it would not be good, right? If anyone can access that one using access key and secret key, that is not a good practice. So we are parameterizing and we are creating an environment variable and storing that credentials in the Jenkins itself. Okay, and here we are specifying agent any. That means any of the Jenkins that is available, use it, right? If you are using master slave architecture, that is also fine, right? So next is stages, which is very important. I told you, right, in between the pipes we have taps and where we'll get our waters and everything. In the same way, in pipeline also we have stages in between. Okay, in Terraform stage, the first thing that we have is checkout. Checkout means where to get your actual code, right? We store that in Git. So I want to get that code from the GitHub and I need to store it somewhere. So that is what this stage is doing. So first stage is checkout, and the steps it is doing is, firstly it is creating a directory with dir Terraform. Okay, after that it is using this Git. This is what the link to the GitHub repository. So if you just want to see, I'll just open it in a new tab. If you see, this exact code is what I have pasted here, right? So this is what it is doing. It is going to clone that and check out, get the code from this particular repository. Okay, next, after getting the clone, it needs to initialize the Terraform, right? So it will display what is the present working directory and it will get into this Terraform folder. So there are Terraform folder we created in the last step, right? So it will get inside CD. Okay, so if you want to write shell script, you need to specify sh here. Okay, so that is what I'm doing here. It will get inside Terraform, and here inside Terraform we have the Terraform scripts. So it will initialize that script and it will apply Terraform plan and it will store all the things in the TF plan, and later on it will store that in the TF plan text, right? So that is what this plan stage is doing. Next is approval, where actually your approval thing comes here. So this is what we discussed in the parameters. So here after planning, it will show you whether you want to deploy this application or infrastructure in your AWS or not. If you hit approve, it will go ahead and do it. If not, it will discard it. So that is what this stage is doing, approval stage. When it is true, it will go ahead and apply it. If not, it will abort it, right? So that is what this approval stage is doing. Next is, so basically we have created a TF plan txt file. So it will read that file. Okay, so basically that is what here it is doing, read file, and so it will ask you whether you want to apply this plan or not. Based on the stage approval, if you have given approve, then it will go ahead and apply it. If not, it will discard it, right? So that is what it is saying, and it will show you to review. So whether this is correct or not, please check. It will prompt you like that. If everything seems correct, go ahead and apply it. So the last step is what it is going to apply the changes or apply whatever the things that you have in the TF plan. It will go ahead and apply it to your AWS, right? So this is what this entire script is doing. Okay, so now let us go back to our Jenkins and start building the pipeline. Okay, so let me come to dashboard and let me hit on create new item. So I'll name that as Terraform standalone. You can give any name, but I'm giving Terraform standalone, and we are trying to build a pipeline. So I'll select pipeline and click on OK. Okay, now here you need to give the configuration. So you need to specify a few things here. Okay, so let's go over here. Here is the actual thing. You just need to click on advanced options. What is the display name? So I'll just say I'll just give the same name, Terraform standalone. Okay, so I gave this name here. Okay, everything seems good, and just check if we need to define anything. Okay, now let us go ahead and create the pipeline. So let me click on this one here. If you see pipeline script from SCM, source code manager, so our source code manager is GitHub, so I want to get that script from the SCM itself. So I'll select that one. So which HCM are you using? I'm going to use only Git, right? So that is what I have. And you need to specify the repository URL. So this is my repo. I'll just copy this repo's URL and I'll paste it here. Okay. So after pasting, this error should go away. Okay. So if this is a private repository, you can add a credential, Git credential, right? Just the way that we did global credentials for access key and secret key, right? So you can create a credential for username and password also. But this is a public repo, so I'll leave that as it is. Okay. And you need to specify the branch name here. What is the branch name? It is main, right? So I'll give the same name here also. I'll just say main. And script path. So what is the we need for to deploy everything? We need this Jenkins file, right? So that is what we discussed. Where it is, what and what is the name? The name is Jenkins file. So automatically it will get detected. So it says Jenkins file, and we are okay with that. Okay, let me save it. Okay, now everything seems fine. So let me go ahead and build this one. So if you see here, I'll just click on build now. So the build triggers and it automatically comes here. If you see here, it will automatically come here. Okay, so right now the build is going over here. If you see, these are the different stages that we had, right? So let it complete. I'll explain the stages later on. Okay, it is waiting in approval. So let me see what if you see here, we have proceed or about. Let me click on proceed. I'll just explain what I'm doing right now. Okay, so it is in apply stage. So it will take some time, not more than expected. It will take some time. Let us go to the console output and let's see what it is doing actually, right? So first we'll see what are the stages we have, right? We explained what are the stages, right? So first thing is declarative. It is using declarative, and checkout SCM is our first stage. So we did not specify checkout stage, right? No, we did specify, if you remember. So this is our checkout stage, right? So we have that here also, right? But this checkout is that one. But what is this checkout? This checkout, we got it from our Terraform view itself, right? Terraform file itself. If you just go through configure, here if you see, we specified everything, right? So pipeline, we specified repository, pipeline from SCM, all those things we specified. So that is what it is getting, right? So this stage, declarative checkout SCM, is from the pipeline itself. And this one, we are getting it from the script that we have written, checkout. And second, plan, approval, and apply. So do we have that? Plan, approval, and apply. If you remember, when it was in approval stage, I clicked on proceed, and we also had abort. If I clicked on abort, what it was doing, it is going to stop there itself. But now if you see, this entire thing, this entire circle is in green color. That means it worked correctly. There is no error and everything worked fine, right? So if you just want to see if it is correct or not, click on this one. It will show you the console output, what and all it happened, everything in detail it is going to display. Okay, so let's see the important things here. First thing, it checked out. So if you see here, it got the repository link here. It whatever we have specified in the pipeline, it checked out the code. Okay, it is displaying which present working directory, that is what we have mentioned here, pwd, and cd into Terraform, right? So we got into Terraform, and here it just ran Terraform init. So after running Terraform init, it will initialize the deployment. It will download all the plugins required, and it will keep it. Later on, we are specifying Terraform plan, right? So if you see here, we are specifying Terraform plan. Basically, it displays everything, whatever the things that we have given in the file, everything will be displayed here. I don't know the reason, but Jenkins has some issue while with the Terraform and its console output, so bear with that. So basically it will tell you if you run Terraform plan, whatever the things that will display, right, everything is displayed here also. Okay, later on it is asking for the input required because we have specified that also, right, approval stage. It will wait. So if I clicked on approve, it will go. If not, it will stay as it is, or it will abort it. I approved it. Basically the username that I'm using is a Jenkins user. If you see here, Jenkins user, so whoever approves it, it will automatically come here, approved by Jenkins user. Later on it went ahead and it finished. So the final build is success. Now the pipeline is successful, but if you want to check whether the infrastructure is created in your AWS or not, how will you do it? So you can log into your AWS console and check if the resources is created or not. So what resources did we create? We created an EC2 instance here, right? So let me go back to my EC2. Let me open up EC2. So here let us check if the resources is created or not. If you see instance 1 is there, let me see what is that instance. Okay, if you see here, the resource is TF instance, right? So this is what we have given here, right? So this is how you create resources or infrastructure using your Terraform and Jenkins. All right, so if you're liking the content that I'm creating, please consider subscribing and share it among your friends. Thank you.